the shocking reason you're losing muscle, and how to reverse it. I bet you were unaware that your muscle mass has likely already decreased by half by the time you reach the age of 80. More than 50 million seniors worldwide suffer from sarcopenia, a horrible illness that robs millions of individuals of their freedom. Every year, falls resulting from weak muscles send over 300,000 senior citizens to the hospital. This brings us to the startling part. Research that refutes the notion that such substantial muscle atrophy is inevitable is published in the Journal of Physiology. While most people in their age group struggle to perform even the most basic duties, such as getting out of a chair or ascending stairs, some people in their 70s have the power, function, and even appearance of someone who is decades younger. They can remain completely independent far into their 90s. And on strength tests, they often outperform others half their age. They continue to play sports and climb mountains. Then, what is their secret? Researchers at the Mayo Clinic have discovered some activities that can dramatically postpone or even cure age-related muscle loss, something that 93% of seniors are unaware of. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that most doctors never discuss with their senior patients the most crucial habit that can help them restore lost muscle mass well into their 70s and 80s. The advice of many doctors really contradicts what science has shown to be essential for maintaining strength as we age. The first habit is probably something you do wrong every day, so continue seeing. Through the activation of genes that would not ordinarily do so, this common mistake is accelerating the process of muscle atrophy. By changing this one behavior, you may be able to enjoy your golden years independently or with assistance from others. Hormetic stress is habit number 1. Hormetic stressors, or particular forms of stress, are one of the most counterintuitive things that robust 80-year-olds do. The phenomenon known as hormesis occurs when compounds that would be harmful at greater concentrations have beneficial effects when exposed at lower ones. Literally, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, especially when it comes to muscle. According to research from the Buck Institute for Research in Aging, people well into their 80s can maintain and even improve their muscular function and growth by triggering cellular defense mechanisms in response to brief exposures to specific stimuli. The main hormetic stressor that superagers use is temperature variation. Short exposure to cold, such as finishing showers with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water, or quick cold plunges, is good for activating brown fat, boosting mitochondrial biogenesis, and stimulating adipectin, a hormone that prevents muscle tissue from breaking down. Similar to how hot tubs and saunas function, they both activate heat shock proteins, which shield and repair muscle fibers. A Finnish study found that 10 years of sauna use was associated with 40% less muscle loss than non-sauna users. The second hormetic stressor is intermittent fasting, or eating under strict time restrictions. To improve muscle quality and promote autophagy, the process of cellular cleansing, superagers limit their daily meal intake to a small window of 8 to 10 hours. According to research from the Sulcu Institute, this method can increase muscle mitochondrial activity by up to 10% in as little as 12 weeks without resulting in weight loss. Even though they are strong and fleeting, muscle contractions are the third hormetic stressor. Overcoming isometrics is a popular type of exercise where superagers push or pull stationary objects repeatedly to their limits for 5 to 10 seconds at maximum speed without overtaxing the joints. These brief yet powerful contractions interact with muscle cells to maintain their size and activity. These stressors are powerful because of their irregular nature. They must be brief and followed by ample recuperation time. When these regulated stressors are applied correctly, they trigger longevity genes, such as sirtuins and FOXes, which are mostly responsible for preserving muscle mass as we age. Until you build up a tolerance, try to introduce these habits gradually. The goal is to create a mild beneficial stress that doesn't overload your system. The fourth habit is a protein timing strategy. Seniors are particularly concerned about their protein intake, but research indicates that timing may be even more important. Anabolic resistance is the term used by scientists to describe the progressive decrease in protein use that comes with aging. According to research published in the Journal of Nutrition, seniors should spread out their protein intake throughout the day rather than consuming it all at once, as is commonly believed. We are now at the crucial part. About 3 to 4 hours after each meal, your muscles have a window of opportunity for protein synthesis. Most seniors don't receive enough protein throughout the day to build muscle because they have the error of consuming all of their protein at dinner. Which approach is best? Try to have 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal spaced out throughout the day. Therefore, try eating eggs, Greek yogurt, or a protein smoothie for breakfast instead of cereal or toast. This tendency should continue at lunch and dinner with lean meats, fish, dairy, or vegetarian protein sources, such beans and lentils. This scheduling strategy alone can increase muscle protein synthesis by up to 25% when compared to eating the same amount of protein concentrated in fewer meals. Without changing any other component of their lifestyle, participants in a 12-week research at the University of Texas were able to gain an average of 1.2 pounds of muscle. It's not enough to just eat protein if you want your muscles to grow stronger or continue to deteriorate. When you eat, it also matters. The fifth habit, vitamin D level optimization. Did you know that over 80% of the senior population lacks the so-called muscle vitamin? Vitamin D deficiency, the silent killer of strength, is very common in older people. Let me clarify. Vitamin D is needed for more than just bone nutrition. Harvard University researchers discovered that vitamin D stimulates the genes involved in muscle synthesis and growth. Your cells have vitamin D receptors that, when activated, start mechanisms that help you build and preserve muscle mass. A groundbreaking study published in JAMA Internal Medicine revealed that older adults with high vitamin D levels had 25% more muscle strength than those with low levels. They also demonstrated significantly better balance, coordination, and reaction time, all of which are critical for preventing falls. While superagers who appear to age without aging almost invariably have optimal levels above 40 nanog per milliliter, vitamin D deficiency is defined as levels below 20 nanog per milliliter. Which methods of vitamin D supplementation are most effective? Despite its health benefits, sun exposure becomes less effective as we age. This is because when exposed to sunlight, our skin's ability to produce vitamin D drops by 50% between the ages of 20 and 65. Although the average daily requirement of 600 international units is woefully insufficient, most seniors require supplementation. Research suggests that most seniors need 2,000 to 4,000 international units per day to reach acceptable levels, though this should be tailored based on blood testing. Remouse. If at all possible, aim to get 15 to 20 minutes of direct midday sun exposure. Along with this, eat foods high in vitamin D, such as fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy. A warning, because of the synergistic impact of vitamin D, low levels of vitamin K2, which is found in fermented foods and some animal products, stop calcium from getting to the arteries and instead encourage the bones to use it. High dosages of vitamin D supplements might cause calcification of the arteries. Your success could depend on this little-known but important vitamin-nutrient interplay. Ask your doctor to perform a blood test to determine how much vitamin D your body requires. Then strive to maintain levels above 40 milligrams per ml to prevent muscular atrophy. The sixth rule, control inflammation on a daily basis. What, therefore, do elderly, extremely strong people have in common? It's interesting to note that inflammation levels are generally rather low. Inflammaging, a word for low-grade chronic inflammation, has lately been identified by researchers as a major contributing cause to the decline of muscle mass in the aged. This silent inflammatory process breaks down muscle protein more quickly than the body can replenish it. Not only that, but inflammation also prevents the anabolic signals that normally encourage muscle growth in response to protein consumption and exercise. A groundbreaking study from Tufts University found that seniors with the greatest inflammatory indications lost muscle mass 3 times faster than those with the lowest levels regardless of their protein intake or exercise habits. Superagers who maintain their young strength employ specific anti-inflammatory strategies that most elders are unaware of. Their first goal is getting a good night's sleep, which they accomplish by sleeping in a completely dark room and going to bed at the same time every night. Sleep deprivation can accelerate muscle loss by up to 40% by raising inflammatory cytokines. Second, they closely monitor the condition of their digestive joints. According to recent research from the University of California, aging-related changes in gut flora are a direct source of systemic inflammation. Superagers take a daily range of fiber sources, fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, etc., that include natural probiotics and a variety of plant foods, at least 30 each week. Thirdly, they prepare for the severity of their workouts. While regular mobility is important, seniors should refrain from vigorous exercise, as it may worsen inflammation. The typical superager works out moderately most days, interspersing short bursts of intensive activity once or twice a week. Finally, they routinely eat foods high in polyphenols, e.g. berries, green tea, and extra virgin olive oil, curcumin, turmeric, and omega-3 fatty acids, 2 to 3 grams daily, from fatty fish or supplements as anti-inflammatory compounds. Researchers at the University of California found that age-related changes in gut bacteria can cause inflammatory markers to rise by up to 29% in as little as 12 weeks. You can monitor inflammation using a simple blood test that measures high sensitivity. C-reactive protein HSCRP. Superagers often maintain levels below 1.0 milligrams per liter, but the average senior has levels 3 to 5 times greater. Seventh principle, taking a particular vitamin daily. Superagers with exceptional muscular strength pay special attention to specific micronutrients that support protein synthesis and muscle function. Even though most dietary recommendations focus on macronutrients like protein, carbs, and fats, these vital nutrients act as facilitators to help your body maximize the benefits of exercise and the protein you consume. No amount of protein or exercise can stop you from losing muscle mass if you don't have them. Magnesium naturally takes precedence because experts from the University of Vermont have termed it the forgotten electrolyte for muscle health. More than 70% of the senior population lacks this mineral, which is necessary for over 300 enzyme processes involved in muscle function. According to a 2021 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, seniors with adequate magnesium levels performed significantly better physically and had 30% stronger grips than those with even modestly low magnesium levels. Superagers typically consume foods high in magnesium on a daily basis, such as dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and dark chocolate, in addition to taking supplements of the mineral in highly accessible forms like glycinate or threonate. Next up is creatine, which isn't only for beginners. Creatine supplementation significantly increased older people's muscle mass, strength, and cognitive function as compared to strength exercise alone. McMaster University, 2015. A daily consumption of 3 to 5 g can increase the water content in muscle cells and the synthesis of muscle energy, creating an anabolic environment. Methylated B12, a B vitamin that is frequently overlooked, comes next. Our body's ability to absorb B12 decreases with aging because stomach acid production decreases. Even worse, two of the most commonly used medications, metformin and proton pump inhibitors, significantly deplete this essential vitamin. A deficiency affects both neural function and muscle energy production. Superagers typically supplement with methylcobalamin, the active form of cobalamin, rather than the less expensive form included in ordinary multivitamins. Mineral cofactors including zinc, selenium, and chromium are equally important for promoting insulin sensitivity and protein synthesis, both of which are necessary for the delivery of nutrients to muscle tissue. A comprehensive study from Tufts University found that optimal levels of these trace elements were linked to a 22% improvement in muscle mass maintenance over a 5-year period. Instead of depending on a generic multivitamin, superagers can use micronutrient testing to identify their specific nutritional gaps and take the necessary supplements. We can save patients money by avoiding needless treatments by customizing their care to meet their unique biochemical needs. The 8th habit is to maintain your neuromuscular connections. The majority of seniors are not aware of this fascinating fact. The effects of muscular atrophy extend beyond the individual fibers. The connection between your muscles and neurological system is usually the weakest link. Your muscles' electrical outlets are comparable to neuromuscular connections. No amount of protein in your diet or exercise will assist your brain connect with your muscles once they begin to degenerate, which happens considerably more quickly around the age of 60. According to new research from the University of Michigan, neuromuscular connections are significantly better in extremely powerful superagers than in the typical senior. More excitingly, scientists have discovered a number of actions that can maintain or even mend these crucial connections. You'll practice coordinating and accurately performing a sequence of preset gestures throughout the first session. Activities like Tai Chi, dancing, tennis, or even ping pong have been shown to improve brain-muscle connections when compared to regular strength training or even just walking. These workouts require your neurological system to recruit muscle fibers in certain patterns in order to enhance the neuromuscular connections. In 2020, researchers found that older persons who engaged in coordination-demanding activities twice a week maintained neuromuscular connections 31% better than those who only engaged in traditional exercise. The second approach focuses on chemicals that support neuromuscular health. Acetyl L-carnitine and alpha-lipoic acid may be able to stop oxidative damage to the nerve-muscle connection. Even more exciting is the fact that certain B1 forms such as huperzine and benfotiamine, which are present in Chinese club moss, can increase acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that is primarily responsible for muscle activation. Superagers employ a variety of breathing techniques that activate the vagus nerve, which helps to regulate neuromuscular transmission. Simple breathing techniques like box breathing, which involves inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 4, can enhance neural activation of muscles by up to 15% in as little as 5 minutes each day. The connection between mental activity and the preservation of neuromuscular connections is perhaps the most fascinating. In a groundbreaking study, Columbia University found that regular engagement in demanding cognitive activities significantly preserved the muscle function of older persons. The researchers discovered that brain training directly improves the neuromuscular system, since the brain and the neuromuscular system share numerous neural pathways. Superagers can effectively recruit muscle fibers by maintaining strong brain connections far into their 80s and beyond with the help of various neuromuscular preservation procedures. A growing body of research reveals a surprising link between emotional resilience and muscle preservation in older adults. While physical strategies dominate most muscle health conversations, psychological well-being, especially having a clear sense of purpose, plays a crucial biological role. In a landmark study published in JAMA Psychiatry, seniors who reported a strong sense of purpose showed significantly better grip strength, walking speed, and overall physical performance than those who lacked it. The researchers found that purpose-oriented individuals experienced lower levels of cortisol, a muscle-depleting stress hormone, and higher levels of growth-promoting hormones like DHEA. Superagers often stay socially engaged, volunteer, care for grandchildren, or take up new hobbies, anything that creates meaning, identity, and contribution. These seemingly intangible sources of fulfillment activate neural circuits that reduce inflammation, improve sleep quality, and promote consistent healthy habits like exercise and eating well. In contrast, loneliness and emotional stagnation increase the risk of frailty and sarcopenia by up to 45%, according to the National Institute on Aging. That's why thriving seniors intentionally build emotional support networks, practice gratitude, and reflect daily on goals, even small ones. To cultivate this habit, start each morning by writing one thing you're grateful for. Join a club, take a class, or volunteer just once a week. Reconnect with old friends or mentor someone younger. Set a physical goal, like walking a certain distance or lifting a set weight, and track progress. Muscles are not just strengthened by weights and nutrients, they are preserved by purpose. Every step you take with meaning is a step against decline. Resistance training is the first habit that develops over time. Experts at Tufts University determined that the most potent anti-aging medication ever discovered is the most important behavior that sets incredibly strong 80-year-olds apart from their peers. This is the habit that we have developed. Resistance training that gets better over time, but not in the way most seniors do it. The superagers whose strength levels defy their actual age combat the biological processes of muscular atrophy by utilizing focused resistance training regimens. This basic lesson is never taught to most elders, with one important exception. Your muscles work on the use it or lose it principle. You have to gradually challenge them to keep them in good condition. Going for a stroll, performing water aerobics, or using the same small weights every week won't be enough to maintain muscle mass after the age of 60. What makes the superagers approach special first, intensity, not duration, is the focus. A study from McMaster University found that seniors gained more muscle after 2 weeks of high-intensity resistance training to failure than after 5 weeks of moderate-intensity exercise. The most crucial step is to reach what exercise physiologists refer to as transitory muscular failure, which is the point at which you are unable to perform another repetition with appropriate form. By delivering potent anabolic signals, this stimulates muscle protein synthesis for up to 72 hours following exercise. Second, complicated motions which simultaneously engage multiple muscle groups are emphasized by superagers. Reduced versions of squats, deadlifts, rows, pushes, and pulls should be designed with their mobility and joint health in mind. These movements elicit a more potent hormonal response than solo exercises like leg extensions or bicep curls. Third, they employ progressive overload, which involves gradually increasing the degree of difficulty over time. Because your muscles adjust to whatever stress you put them under, using the same weights month after month results in stagnation. Superagers record their exercise and challenge themselves to accomplish a little bit more each time. Fourth, they emphasize the eccentric or lowering aspects of exercise, which are proven to be beneficial for older adults' muscle strength. Gradually reducing the weights increases the force on the muscles while reducing the force on the joints. Surprisingly, this technique is effective even for those who are rushing. A groundbreaking study from the University of Alabama found that older persons who began a 12-week program of progressive resistance training gained an average of 3.3 pounds of muscle and increased their power by 35%. These notable alterations were accompanied by improvements in blood glucose regulation, bone density, and cognitive performance. So, what is the most common mistake made by retirees? The issue is that a lot of people believe resistance training is too dangerous or outdated for them. The real concern is that resistance training is necessary to stop additional muscle loss, which raises the risk of falls, fragility, and other problems on its own. If you only do one thing from this video, make progressive resistance training a routine. See a trainer first to ensure that you're doing everything correctly. Next, increase the intensity to a level appropriate for your level of fitness. One 30-minute session a week can make a big difference in how quickly you age. These are the 7 research-backed strategies that explain why some 80-year-olds maintain their exceptional muscular strength. Start with a habit that you can easily develop today and progress to the others. Long-term benefits will result from the work you put in today to increase your strength and freedom. Now is your moment to speak. Do you have any of these 7 habits at the moment? Which one surprised you the most? If any, is there an old person in your life that is remarkably strong for their age? Tell us about yourself and your ideas in the comment section below. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you find the content useful, please click like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with your loved ones, especially grandparents, parents, or the elderly who need a clearer memory and a more complete sleep. See you in the next videos, where we continue the journey of living healthy, living happily, living long.